It is Margaret with Forward Kind Heart. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for Dreams Live. And so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do a series over the next few weeks over archetypes and dreams. But first, really quick, who I am. Like I said, I'm Margaret with Forward Kind Heart. I am a healer. I love helping people to get unstuck, to release, to get rid of like the obstacles, the hurdles, everything that gets in the way of living your best life. So I'm just so passionate about helping people do that. I do that on several different levels. I am a trained counselor. I have my master's in counseling, as well as a Reiki teacher. I've gotten training from healers and shamans, past life regression. So I just love to bring that all together to really help people tap into the blocks, what's keeping them stuck, so that we can get those free, so that, like I said, you can live your best life. I also love empowering empaths and starseeds to really set themselves free, to really learn how to use their superpower so that it doesn't feel like such a burden. And so why do I do dreams? Because I love dreams. I love working with the subconscious material. I love helping people free that up, right? To be able to tap into all this wealth of information and guidance that we have. Okay, so let's jump right into archetypes. And what are archetypes? So an archetype, is like the prototype. It's like the main thing that we base other things on. It's like the original, the model. And then in Jungian psychology, it's part of the collective unconscious. It's something that we all agree on. It's like a definition of one thing, an image. It's universal, and it isn't all of our psyches. Now, this can change based on socioeconomics, culture. Different places around the world can have different aspects to different archetypes, but generally with an archetype, everybody gets the understanding. And so this week I'm going to talk about the mother archetype. Next week I'm going to talk about the triple goddess archetype. So that's maiden, mother, and crone. And then the following week, we're going to jump into the father archetype. And so there's, according to who you look at, the author and Dr. Carolyn Myss, she has several, like probably about 100 archetypes. Carl Jung had about 8 to 12. So it really depends on which you want to follow, where you want to go with this. And again, an archetype is any kind of universal, culturally understood subject, right? Like, so I said, like mother, father, hero, rebel, magician. We're going to go into all of these different archetypes. They're really present. Another thing about archetypes is that you will find them in fairy tales, in myths, in legends, in stories. Archetypes really are the foundation of our universal stories that we share. And so I started with the mother. And so I have a couple tarot cards just to help create, to spark the imagination, to get things working, right? Because we are visual people, and our imagination, it's constantly working. So also to, tap into the subconscious. So the first deck I have is the Star Child Tarot. And this is the card for the Empress. And the Empress really does represent the mother archetype, and I'll get to that in a minute. The other deck is the Prisma Tarot deck, and this is the Empress as well. Okay, and so why the Empress in tarot? Because she really is the defining aspect of the mother, and a lot of people that study tarot will correlate the major arcana, so it's the first 21 cards in the tarot deck, to archetypes. So there is that universal theme, and I will pull those in as needed to really help emphasize and give you guys that visual cue. So mother. The archetype of mother really is that unconditional love, nurturing, Mother Earth, all that good richness, right, that we associate with the mother archetype. That being said, there are other spin-offs of that archetype, right? We can have the protective mother, the evil mother. You know, you think of like Cinderella, the evil stepmother. That can be an archetype. The disapproving mother. A lot of times in therapy, we talk about like the judgmental mother or the unaccepting mother, right? And how that plays into who we become as adults, right? These voices that become internalized in our head. So we have the mother, right? Unconditional love, acceptance, birth, growth, nurturing, right? These things that we associate with Mother Earth. And then we have these other aspects of mother that come into play. Like I said, the judgmental mother, the disapproving mother, the evil stepmother. So there's a lot of different places that you can go with the mother archetype and looking how you feel about the mother archetype, your own relationship to your mother, your grandmother, as well as yourself as a mother. Even if you don't have children, you can really look at the mother archetype as how you feel about birth, creation, right? Because the mother is about creation. Even if you don't have children, it is about creating, right? We have ideas that we birth into life. And so the mother archetype is all of this unconditional love, this nurturing. It's what we would say the ideal mother is. And then you can spin off from there. So I hope that that makes sense. If not, feel free to ask any questions, to reach out. I'm always happy to answer questions. So then we get into where the mother manifests in dreams. And really quickly, I just want to touch on shadow because I love shadow work. It's just so powerful and profound in our own personal healing. And so shadow, remember, is those pieces and parts of us that we discard, that we throw away, that we put onto other people. One of the easiest ways to identify shadow is when we project things onto other people, especially what we dislike, what we hate. So if we're using judgmental language or words towards people, that right there is an indication that our shadow is at play. When we are bothered by something about somebody else, that is an indication that our shadow is wanting to be noticed, to be recognized, to be worked with. And of course, the archetype of the mother and that shadow element can very easily come into our dreams and shake us up. You know, it causes us to wake up and really notice what aspects of ourselves need to be incorporated. And of course, you can do this outside of dream work as well. Again, you know, any kind of things that you can't own in yourself about motherhood, creativity, bringing things to life, birthing things, nurturing, offering unconditional love, right? If we have a problem with unconditional love, that is a sign that our mother archetypal shadow is at play, right? And a lot of people have a hard time with unconditional love. So that's nothing. Remember, this is not good or bad. This is all part of the process of healing. Hi, Shauna. Thanks for joining. So how does the archetype of the mother come into our dreams? So first of all, you're going to look for any presence in your dream that is motherly, that is nurturing, that is offering unconditional love and support. This can be Mother Earth, and that's why next week we're going to go into the triple goddess, because oftentimes our mother archetype shows up as the triple goddess or in different aspects of maiden, mother, or crone, which can be really fun to identify and work with, especially when we're transitioning into different life stages. But this week we're just going to really focus on the energy of the mother archetype and how she presents in our dreams. So of course, you know, there is the obvious mother. So your mother, somebody else's mother, a mother is in your dreams, or somebody that feels very motherly. Oftentimes the mother archetype shows up in our dreams looking however our subconscious feels a mother should look. And this can be different depending on cultural background, where you grew up, country, all kinds of different things come into how the mother archetype is going to show up in your dream. Another way the mother archetype presents itself in our dream, again, is those shadow aspects or those other aspects of mother that we don't always think of, right? So like I said, the disapproving mother seems to be a really big one, where we have dreams where our mother is criticizing us or judging us or disapproving of whatever it is that we have going on in life. And so this is the mother archetype, and it's really coming in to provide that guidance, right? To help us on our way. So oftentimes we do dream of our mother or a mother-esque energy in our dreams. Sometimes our own personal relationship with our mother or how we feel about mothers comes into play when we have these dreams. So there's a lot going on. Not only do you have the mother archetype in your dream that you're interacting with, but you also have how you feel about the mother archetype. And so often for so many people, their relationships with their mothers are not simple. They're not cut or dry. There is a lot of healing to be done when we deal with our mother wounds, our parental wounds, and we'll get into the father side the week after next. So there's a lot going on when it comes to the mother archetype. And so oftentimes when we dream of the mother archetype, our own mother wounds get stirred up. And this causes a lot of emotional turmoil and anguish for the dreamer, right? Because children love their parents usually unconditionally. They are the people that were there to mold them, to take care of them, to do all of this for them. And so oftentimes, in therapy, in the healing process, even in coaching, however you go about your healing process, that trusted person you're with, it comes up when it comes time to talk about our parents. There is usually a parent that we don't want to say bad things about, we don't want to be too harsh with, and we'll have a lot of anger towards that parent, right? Because we grow up, and then we grow up and we have these problems and these issues, and then we start to do the work, and we're like, oh my gosh, and we can tie it back to our parents' own experience as parents, our parents' own experience as what they had going on in their life. And that can be a clash, and that can really manifest in our dreams, that clash between the archetype of the mother, unconditional love, nurturing, life giver, to the reality of who our parents were, who our mother is or was, and all those flaws. Because so often we don't live up to the archetypes. Our parents don't live up to the archetypes, right? Because it's this fairy tale story. It is this creation. It is this ideal of what the mother is supposed to be. You know, all loving, nurturing. And mothers, most mothers do that, but it's not a perfect world. So they have other things going on. They have to work. Maybe addiction runs in your family. Maybe other things came up, right? And so it's not perfect. And so oftentimes in our dreams, our own issues, our own problems, our own hurts and pains with our mother clash with the archetypal mother, right? And that comes into these dreams where maybe we're fighting with our mother. A lot of times it will come in, and the mother archetype can come in as a domineering woman or a boss or somebody in authority that we feel is trying to tell us what to do, right? Because that's part of life, right? When we hit adolescence, is our mother is trying to tell us what to do, and we clash against that. And that can manifest in our dreams as well, to where we are really struggling with our relationship with our mother, and what does that look like. And so in our dreams, it's usually a woman or a feminine presence that when you wake up, usually most people will be like, it seems like my mother. A lot of times people will say it was my mother, but it wasn't my mother. So this happens a lot in our dreams, where we dream of the essence of something, the archetype, how it presents itself, and the issues that we are working through with this archetype. And so being able to, in your dream, so if you dream of a mother, a motherly figure, a motherly essence, right? Really looking at, how did you respond to this person in your dream? What was it about them that you loved, that upset you, that really stirred your emotional pot? Really look at how you responded to this person. because, you know, that's the mother archetype. And I know I'm talking a lot about our own issues with our mother archetype, but the mother archetype can also come in and remind us that we are beautiful beings, that we are loved unconditionally, that we are just magnificent beyond belief. And this happens a lot. And for some people, they will report this motherly energy as angelic or goddess-like, or just the most loving, brightest mother in the world. Right? And so the mother archetype really does come into our dreams to deliver messages, not only from our soul, but also that we need to hear where we are. So when we have these dreams of the mother archetype, it's really inviting us to start healing those wounds, as well as to start hearing what needs to be heard. I had said earlier that so many of us have a hard time receiving unconditional love. And so when the archetype of the mother comes in, looking at how do you receive love? How do you express love? What does love look like in your life? How can you love yourself unconditionally, right? The mother archetype is all about unconditional love and nurturing. So looking at, you know, if you're dreaming of her, where are you nurturing or not nurturing yourself? Where are you loving or not loving yourself? And that comes in again, remember, when we dream of the disapproving mother, the judgmental mother, the evil stepmother. However she presents herself, right, is really providing you clues as to where you need to go next in your healing in life, issues that are asking to be healed, areas that you need to look at. And another aspect of the archetype of the mother in our dreams, she can come offering guidance of wisdom, you know, just answering questions that we may have. So often we go to sleep and we're thinking about an issue or a problem, and we're just wishing for that divine knowledge, that divine wisdom. And then when we dream, we'll have a dream of a beautiful woman, maybe even an old hag. You know, our subconscious is magical and wonderful, and it's going to present us with the imagery that we need to move forward. And she offers you just beautiful wisdom, beautiful advice, you know. And so being able to hear that and be open to it. Another way the mother archetype presents itself is for a lot of women, and we'll get to the father on the other side. And also, so in Jungian psychology, he really believed that your gender, the archetypes, so if you're a woman, you would, you know, dream of the woman, the mother, the father for the male. And not everybody identifies as that. So really looking at how do you identify the mother archetype? For so many people, you know, there is gender fluidity. And so being able, you know, some people are going to have a male that is very feminine present as the mother archetype, and vice versa. A very masculine woman can present as the father archetype. Now, Jungians, there's a lot of Jungians, I will warn you, that really stick to the gender roles. I feel that with gender fluidity, and in my own experience as a therapist, as a healer, as a dreamer, that the archetypes in my dreams come how I need to experience them. So if I'm struggling with very masculine, feminine energy, so a woman that presents herself very masculine, that energy might manifest in my dream as a feminine male. And so being able to realize the deeper things that are at work here. And so that being said, you know, for back into the mother archetype, so often, right, we dream that we're pregnant, that we are mothers, for mothers dreaming of children. And this, again, it doesn't matter to your gender, it's what your dream is presenting you, that material that the dream is presenting you to work with. So when we dream of ourselves as mothers, as being pregnant, as, you know, dreaming of our children, looking at how we relate to ourselves as the mother archetype. Where are we in our lives as that mother archetype? And again, that takes us back into nurturing, unconditional love, all those things. And, you know, maybe after you watch this video, you sit down and you write a list of words that you associate with the mother archetype, and let any and all words, like if you're like bossy, controlling, bitchy, whatever it is that you associate. That's great, because those words that you hesitate to write down, that's your shadow in relation to the mother archetype, and that's great. You can work with that. And so looking at all those words that you associate with the mother archetype, I showed you the 2 tarot cards, right? So go ahead, pull out your tarot deck, look at the Empress card, and look at how that's described. Maybe you get online and you Google mother archetype. Like I said, Carolyn Miss is a huge archetypal therapist, and she really works with that. Talk to your therapist about it. This is, in your dreams, it really is your relation to the archetype. So back to, dreaming of pregnancies or your children, or maybe you don't have any children, but you dream that you have children. This is an invitation to look at how you are as a parental figure, how you are embodying unconditional love, nurturing, acceptance. And so often, people get really unnerved if they dream that they're pregnant or that they have children. These are really dreams about creation, right? Because the mother archetype is also about creating and bringing things into fruition. A business, a book, an art project, whatever it is. Motherhood is about nurturing and bringing things to fruition. And so when you have these dreams where you're pregnant or you're a mother, really looking at the context, right? How are you in that role? Did you do something that bothered you in that role? Did you embody it and embrace it? And so looking at how you relate to the archetype of the mother, you as yourself being the archetype of the mother, because we do have dreams where we are the archetype, and that's pushing us into stepping into who we are as people, right? Because archetypes are universal. They are within all of us. We relate to stories of these universal archetypes, right? Mother, father, magician, fool, rebel, and we're going to go into a lot of these so that you can be able to pick out where they are in your dream, how to work with them, and the messages that they are supplying you with. If you dream a lot about a certain archetype, that really is an invitation. That is a sign that there is more work there that needs to be done in regards to that archetype. And it's not always, sometimes we think of work as like tedious or there's something we have to do. No. Like this is, I want you to have fun with your dreams. I want them to be an area of exploration. I love Alice in Wonderland, and I love using that in everything that I do, to just think about everything as one big adventure. So going in curious with that wonderment, with that awe, and realizing that you do have control, you do have say. You get to choose if you're going to drink something to grow bigger or eat something to get smaller. And that's a lot of fun in our dreams, that we wake up and we realize that we have this ability to create and manifest. And so being able to bring that curiosity and that wonderment and awe into your dreams, so it doesn't feel that this tedious thing that you have to do because you dreamt that you had a fight with your mother. That's beautiful, because what's going on there? Looking underneath, what is going on? You had a fight with your mother. Getting to those feelings, getting to those messages. So that is about all I have this week on the mother archetype. Feel free to message me, share anything you have. If you have a dream that involves the mother archetype, don't hesitate to message me. I'd love to support you in decoding that. Next week, we are going to talk about the triple goddess archetype. That's mother, maiden, crone. And then the following week, we're going to do the father, and we're going to touch on several archetypes. And then after that, we are going to get into different types of dreaming, because a lot of times people ask about lucid dreaming, astral projection. And so we're going to get into that type of dreaming and what that looks like, how to facilitate that. And as always, if you have a topic of a dream you would like me to discuss, go ahead and message me. All right, thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.